Hello and welcome to this review of Chivas Regal, aged 13 years, selectively finished in American rye casks. And this is the Manchester United Memorial Edition, sort of like made in honor of that English team, soccer. They've changed the label to more of a purplish blue label because that promotion's over, but it's still the Chivas Regal selectively finished in American rye casks. So the standard Chivas Regal is 12 years, right? So then they made the Chivas Extra 13 years. And now they have different applications. Rye casks, selection, rum casks, sherry casks. It goes on and on and they don't finish all of it in the rye, ex-American rye barrels, and I don't know whose barrels they're using. That's a question. I wouldn't be shocked if it was something coming from Mixner or out of Indiana, some brand. If you look at the history of Chivas Brothers, that would make sense. But it probably doesn't matter, but it's not all of it. It's a portion of this 13-year age. It's aged for 13 years, this Chivas Regal, regular old Chivas Regal. And then a portion of it is aged further, they don't say for how long, in American rye casks. And then they blend it back in. So they have a disclaimer on that on their website, a portion of it. And they say that on the back here. Okay, now this was an amazing deal. Savannah Discount had this little discount area, and I was looking around, and I thought these were little, I don't know, for some reason in the store they looked smaller. And I said $9.99. You know, it's like $50 at the store, a regular store. And then I checked carefully. I said $7.50 for $9.99. Now in the previous video, live videos, I was saying it was $4.99. That was something else. But anyway, and it's still an incredible deal. $9.99 for Chivas Regal. So I bought it, and then my friend David was like, "You didn't buy some for me? I would have paid you back." I said, I wasn't thinking along those lines, and then I was down the highway and I wasn't going back. I said, but they have so much of it. When you go by one day, you can pick it up. Well, he immediately went over there and bought a bunch of bottles because he said he was going to keep 2 or 3 and then give them out as presents. This was around Christmas time. And I said, yeah, they're not going to know you got it for $9.99. They're going to appreciate it because Chivas Regal, the regular is about, what, $34, but then you get the extra age, it's into the 40s or $50. I'll check the price, but it's not cheapo. All right. Introduced in 1909, the original Chivas Regal was a 25-year age, really ultra-premium Scotch, blended Scotch, and then Prohibition hit, and it was actually discontinued because their main market was America. And then after Prohibition, they brought it back, but as a 12-year age and less expensive product. Now they do make the 25-year age today, very expensive. All right, so it's a twist cap. You know, if you're looking for cork and all of that, it's not going to be there. So Chivas Brothers, they also make Passport Scotch. They make 100 Pipers. They make the Glenlivet single malt and a bunch of other stuff. You look on their website, you'd be busy for a while. Royal Salute, which is a very expensive Chivas Brothers product. That runs minimum about $150. Okay. Yeah, something like that. So it's deep gold, almost like not quite, but almost like a greenish gold. I noticed that with the Cuddy Sark, it almost looked like an olive green and gold. All right, got it in this Chivas glass. Now I'm finished with the 12-year. You know, I had a standard bottle, Chivas Regal 12-year, and it was all right. I gave it a 90, but it was a little bland, honestly. I just didn't seem that great. And but certainly, you know, definite. I mean, a 90 is a good score, obviously. But I wasn't thrilled with it. And then I found at the same store, Savannah Discount, they had Chivas Regal Mitsunara Oak, and that was $14.99. And I wasn't sure, you know, like it was kind of like this one. it was 12-year age, but the portion finish in Japanese Mitsunara oak, and I was like, I don't know if that's a good. It's got to be a great deal, and then come to find out, it's like $48 at the times, up in the 50s now for that. And I don't know how they're getting it on the shelf this inexpensive. Now I might go back 2 more times over the next year or so, and they won't have it. And then maybe in 4 or 5 years there'll be another one, and it'll be crazy price. So I don't know. All right, we did a duo review of this, and I remember I liked it, but we're usually doing one beer and then another beer, so we're sharing 4 beers. That's not that much, 2 each. It averages to two each, but they might be 12% beers, some of them. And then we do the whiskey, and by that time, it's could be confused. So I think it's best to do this solo also, just without all of that previous action going on. All right, so it's a nice looking product. It's got like an oily consistency to it, in a way. Aroma time. It's warming up. I don't really need this jacket now. In fact, take it off. All right. Okay, so sorry about that. It's grain, bread, the grain, cereal grain smell's going to come from the grain whiskeys. The bread is coming from the malt whiskey. That's the way I see it. Now, as far as rye on the nose, I know it's in there. I know the whiskey that was aged in rye casks, barrels in America, they call them casks of it, is in there. But I would never know that if I hadn't read the label. I'm not going to smell this and think, oh, it's rye treated. No, it just smells like regular Chivas Regal. All right, taste, cheers. Yeah. It's sweet. Most whiskey to me tastes like sugar water. It is sugary sweet like most, although they'll usually finish dry. Kind of like beers. You get these beers that be sweet, but then it'll finish in a dry, non-sweet manner, which is amazing way they produce these products. And it probably takes hours and days and weeks of R&D for each one. That's why they have a big staff. And then they have the quality assurance team to come in and make sure it's consistent. It seemed like they probably have a pretty high percentage of single malt whiskey in here, but then it still might only be 20%. It just seems like it. Rye, I guess that's giving it a little spicy note. If I was tasting this and you told me it was Chivas, I would probably think there's something different about it, but I don't know what it is. Now the Mitsunara, man, that one is just in a way amazing, and it is so interesting. This one is getting close to that though. So regular Chivas Regal, like I said, kind of dull to me, but I wouldn't be opposed to having another bottle to bring into taste challenges. But I think, the Mitsunara has done great in the challenges, and I think this is I'm drinking in isolation, and like I say, a lot of times you drink it on its own, a whiskey, and it's really good, and you put it into competition and blind taste tests, and it falls apart. But I think this one's going to do well. Going to really compete. So I like the medium body. I like that little spicy note to it. I like the savoriness. I like the mostly dry finish. Like the sweet cereal grain, like a sweet breakfast cereal almost, except those aren't 40% alcohol. If you're thinking it's going to have any kind of smoke like you think of Scotch, forget it. There's none of that. Peatiness, there's none of that. Okay? It just tastes like a standard, like really, you could almost think it's an American whiskey because you just get the cereal grain and the breadiness with that slight tweak of the rye. And that's what they're trying to do here, and they've done it. So you could check your prices, but you know, you're probably looking at, I'm thinking minimum probably $48, which is going to be worth it. But to find it for $9.99 was wonderful, a wonderful thing. Okay, so put the cap back on it. I'll take a photo later after the video's over. They could kind of make nicer caps, but look how popular Crown Royal is, and it's got a plastic cap. An ultra smooth, I agree with that, and mellow blend, absolutely mellow. So they're not lying there. Now, how did they select what portion to put in the rye cask for so many months? I guess I really don't know. This is a 2019 bottle. This is going on 5 years old. So yeah, don't look for this red, this crimson and cream colored label. It's different now. Just look for the rye, the word rye, and then you'll be on the right track. So score, I'm going to go 94, 9.4 out of 10. A most excellent rye-treated blended Scotch whiskey from Chivas Brothers. And I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Scotland and take a distillery tour.